Welcome back to Empowering the Educator Within. I'm your host, Christina Shala. And today we're diving into something that every teacher faces, but few feel truly prepared for: setting up your classroom. We all know how overwhelming it can be, especially if you're starting at a new school, switching grade levels, or just trying to make the space work better for your learners. That's exactly why we created the Classroom Setup Planner, a simple, structured tool that walks you through the process step by step. In this episode, I'll guide you through the 8 planning steps that can turn your classroom from a blank slate into a purposeful, organized learning environment without the stress. And if you'd like to follow along with the visual or download the planner for yourself, you'll find it on the education blog at shalabooks.com. And I've included the link in the episode description for easy access. Let's walk through the planner together, step by step, starting with the first and most important consideration: the kind of environment you want your students to experience. Before you even touch a bulletin board, you need a clear vision. What kind of space do you want to create? Is it Reggio-inspired, minimalist, traditional? Will it be calm and neutral, or bold and vibrant? This first step in our Classroom Setup Planner asks you to articulate that vision. The more specific you are, the easier it becomes to make decisions down the line. Think of it like a design blueprint. Every choice should flow from that central idea. From there, we shift from your overall classroom direction to the learning goals that will guide how your space functions. What subjects will you be teaching? What curriculum objectives or skills are you aiming for at the start of the year? Knowing these will naturally shift and evolve over time. You're not listing them here because you expect your classroom to teach every skill on its own. You're doing it so you can make intentional decisions about which materials will reinforce those goals and which ones won't. Too often, setup decisions are made based on what's familiar or visually appealing, rather than what truly supports learning. But this approach flips that script. Start with your learning goals, and then identify the materials that will help bring those goals to life. With your objectives clearly in mind, the next step is to consider how your classroom can support them. What tools, resources, or visuals will help students engage more deeply with the content? This is where you begin to link curriculum to the physical environment. Posters, manipulatives, anchor charts, tech tools, books. What will support the skills and content you're teaching? You don't need to include everything at once. Think of this as your resource menu. You're curating a collection of options that match your goals, not just decorating for the sake of it. Once you've listed your materials, it's time to figure out where those materials will go. Which ones belong at student desks, on group tables, or in independent learning centers? What should go on the walls to reinforce current units? Where will students find the tools they need to succeed in a specific subject? This is where alignment gets practical. You're arranging the environment so that students can interact with the materials that support their learning, right when and where they need them. Now that you have your priorities in place, it's time to sketch out your classroom. Where will key displays go? Which corners support which subjects? How will the flow of the room reflect the types of learning you want to see? Collaborative, independent, inquiry-driven. The sketch is your action plan. It's where curriculum, materials, and space come together to serve a shared purpose: student learning. Once your classroom is in use, take time to reflect on how well the space is supporting your teaching goals. Are students engaging with materials and areas the way you envisioned? Do some parts of the room naturally promote the kind of learning you're aiming for, while others fall short? This isn't about overhauling everything. It's about noticing patterns, staying aligned with your objectives, and making thoughtful adjustments. When this process is grounded in curriculum, not just habit or aesthetics, your space becomes more than functional. It becomes intentional. Your classroom setup isn't something you finalize once and never touch again. It's something you revisit, refine, and realign throughout the year. That's where this planner comes in. Whether you're launching a new unit, adjusting to shifting student needs, or rethinking how a space functions, the structure is there to guide you again and again. Revisiting the process is a natural part of responsive teaching. It's how you ensure your classroom continues to meet the evolving needs of your learners with purpose and clarity. So often, we feel pressure to create the perfect classroom, the one that looks polished, color-coordinated, and Pinterest-worthy. But true impact isn't about how your classroom looks. It's about how well it supports student learning. When your setup is guided by clear goals and thoughtful planning, every corner of your classroom has a purpose. It's not just about creating a welcoming space. It's about designing an environment that works with your curriculum and grows with your students. If you're looking for more tools to support this kind of intentional planning, check out Empowering the Educator Within, the book and workbook created to help educators turn vision into action. And for those ready to take it a step further, ESB Planners provides a digital space to connect your classroom layout with your learning objectives and planning systems. Thanks for tuning in. And if this episode gave you a new perspective on classroom setup, share it with a colleague who's planning their space too. And don't forget to visit the education blog to let us know how your setup is supporting your students. We'd love to hear from you. Until next time, keep empowering the educator within.